Hello and welcome to episode 6 of my Kira Kira read-through. Last time we had the second literature club band starting their in-person practice. And honestly, I think they did better than I expected. Now, the bar wasn't high because they'd never played before, but I didn't expect them to even be able to carry a tune. So, I think they can do it if they keep practicing hard. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. The studio is located near the station, but I have a hard time finding it. When I follow the map in the magazine, I see Keshawara next to the entrance, in plain clothes. She bows. Hello. The guitar case doesn't look quite right on her fragile body. Besides, it looks heavy. I look at my watch, thinking that maybe I'm late. Keshawara notices me doing so.
Chia-chan and Karari-chan are going to be a little late.
They were in high spirits. What happened?
Chia-chan said she had to stay behind after school to talk to a teacher about her grades. And Karari-chan had to go home to take care of something, but she said she should make it on time.
Okay, well, by the way, isn't that instrument too heavy for you, Keshawara?
I'm okay. I've been carrying it a lot recently.
Keshawara smiles. She looks pretty healthy today. But why do they have to be late today? Even you're here early.
Don't worry. I don't mind waiting.
Keshawara smiles again. Such an elegant smile. I can't help wondering if she should be in the band. You don't mind waiting? That's strange.
I like watching someone I know walking towards me.
I see. Even if she doesn't mind waiting, we can't just stand out here for the other two. I suggest we wait inside. At the bottom of the stairs, there's a receptionist. He's a middle-aged man looking at a magazine. He greets us warmly. The badge on his chest says he's the manager. I tell him my name and the reservation time. We are about 15 minutes early. You're early? I feel a little embarrassed. By the counter, there are a few types of strings, sticks, and picks. While I talk to the manager, Keshawara looks over them curiously. When the manager notices it, "Do you want a pick? That one there is our original." The manager queries her.
No, I was just looking.
She puts it back in a hurry. Well, you just have to wait. There's a little space with chairs and the vending machine next to the receptionist counter, so we decide to wait there. We sit next to each other. There's another band in the back, and they're sitting around the small table. They're in their school uniform, so they must be younger than us or about the same age. They're talking about the cast from a popular variety show. It feels like any other after-school activity, so especially with the welcoming personality of the manager, I think this is a normal place after all. By the time we get there, my anxiety is almost all gone. As we sit on the chairs, Keshawara and I fall silent. Come to think of it, this is the first time for us to be alone. We don't get together unless it's for the band, and when it's for the band, Karari and Chie are with us. I don't know what to do. Not only is Keshawara from a rich family, but also from a very good family. She doesn't have to say anything about that. It's obvious from seeing her behavior. I don't know how to behave around her. Also, she is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not interested in idols or models, or even pretty girls. Even if I try not to think that way, she is stunning. Does beauty overpower people? Does beauty overwhelm people? Or when you're overwhelmed, is that true beauty? I wonder what part of our mind is being affected. If I understand that, I won't have to be fearful when I'm with someone beautiful. Oh, even if it's not Keshawara, I think I have a problem being alone with a girl to begin with.
Do I have something on my face?
She's a little embarrassed. I realize I was staring at her. No, nothing. Well, you see, the guys over there are looking at us. I bet they're looking at you. I am embarrassed as well, so I change the subject. Yeah, you do stand out at a place like this. You and the electric guitar don't go together.
Is that so?
Yeah, it is. The conversation doesn't continue. Then, silence again. I'm afraid to say anything wrong, so I'll keep quiet. When I stay silent, all I can hear is the chatting of the students behind me, and the music from the speakers on the counter. The sound insulation must be pretty good in this studio. I don't even hear the sound from the performance. The music is Western music, which I've never heard before. I think it's rock music, but I can't distinguish the category just by listening to it. Murakami may have taught me before, and I can't remember. Punk? New wave? Alternative? Also post-punk? It must have been one of those, but I wouldn't know. I've even seen those katakana words in magazines, but I don't even know what each one means. I'm sure a successful bandsman would be able to distinguish it exactly. Or could it be because I'm lacking the musical sense? Within our band, probably Kashiwara is the most musically talented. No wonder, she has been taking lessons ever since she was a kid, even though she was sick a lot. She never insists, but every time there is something unsure, as long as it's about music, she can answer clearly. If it wasn't for her, our practice would have been simply a waste of time. Anyway, where are Chie and the others? When I look at my watch, it's been only 5 minutes. How slow time passes when you're waiting. I wonder what Kashiwara is thinking. Maybe I should say something.
It sure is fun, huh?
Kashiwara spoke up before I can. I feel relieved inside now that the silence has been broken. What? I try to let her continue.
It's fun to hang out after school and on our days off.
Haven't you done that a lot before?
No.
Kashiwara shakes her head with a smile.
We work together as a second literature club, but it's not like we worked on one thing together.
How about with your friends?
My grandfather is very strict, so he doesn't let me go out very often.
Since she was living a sheltered life and being sickly, maybe that couldn't be helped.
But he likes Kira, and every time I bring her home, he's happy.
Your grandfather is that big shot in the financial world, right? Maybe Karari has something within her that a normal guy like me can't understand. I tilt my head.
I think so. She is a genius.
Kashiwara speaks with a smile. Really? I don't know about that. I tilt my head again, but I think Kashiwara is serious.
It's true. That's why she stands out. I think she is lonely because her sensibility is so unique, but she is always so carefree and cheerful. That's why I like her.
That's when the door opens. I guess they're done. Kenta Tonya comes out with his guitar on his back. This is the guy who gave us the tickets, the guitarist for Star Generation. Hey. He raises his hand to say hello to us. Hey, how are you? So it was you who had the reservation before us. Oh, he's Kenta from Star Generation, Kenta Tonya. I introduce Tonya to Kashiwara. She gets off the chair and bows.
It's very nice to meet you. I'm Sarina Kashiwara. I've heard a lot about you.
Kashiwara introduces herself, holding her guitar in her hands. Tonya nods.
I'm Kenta Tonya. I've heard your name before too. All the guys talk about you.
Even now, he sounds monotone.
So you're the one everyone talks about.
Kashiwara stares at Tonya with deep emotion. He doesn't pay attention to her and turns to me.
Are you going to use the studio next?
Yeah, we're planning to. Are you done? I think there's a little time left. I look at my watch. According to the schedule, Tonya still has another 10 minutes left.
Well, I'm done. I'm just not feeling it today. I don't force myself on days like this. Excuse me, I need to get a drink.
He goes over to the vending machine and buys a can of orange juice. It must be a shock for him to see us here, but he doesn't even look surprised. Maybe he just doesn't want to be rude. And then I remember that I'm here with a girl. Even if we don't have anything in common, someone could think that there's something between us. Maybe Tonya is thinking that way too. If that's the case, I have to clarify it, for Keshawara's sake. Especially since he saw me with Karari the other night. I don't want him to misunderstand. We formed a band. We have 2 more members, but they aren't here yet. I don't like making excuses when he hasn't said anything, but he isn't going to ask, so I can't help it. I explained to him why we formed the band in 2 words.
I see. So you'll perform at the Culture Festival. That's great.
Tonya nods lightly and takes a sip of his juice. Seeing his reaction, I guess this is just how he is. I guess I jumped to conclusions. He takes a sip and burps. Then he turns to Keshawara and notices something.
Ah, that guitar. Do you play? Can I see it?
Sure.
Keshawara hands the guitar to Tonya. Tonya takes the guitar out of the case. He is a guitarist from a famous band. I whisper into Keshawara's ear, and she nods with surprise.
Oh, this is good. This is a good guitar.
When he sees the guitar, Tonya shows a smile. I've never seen him do that before. Maybe this is why people call him first class, but he's a little weird.
Huh, it feels good too. It's well taken care of, and loved too.
Tonya nods to his own words and plucks the strings. The way he moves, he looks cool.
I like this guitar too, but the person who lent it to me said it's an old, cheap guitar.
Keshawara is a little embarrassed.
That's true. It's not an expensive model. Look, all the parts are well taken care of. I'm sure he mended and repaired it, but the way he did it, it's perfect. He must know a lot about guitars and used it with care. I see. Yep,
Tonya nods.
sorry about that. I like looking at other people's instruments.
He put the guitar back in the case carefully and hands it to Keshawara.
Have fun practicing.
Then Tonya starts to walk away. Tonya, could I ask you something? I stop him because I thought of something. If you have time, could you watch us practice today?
Watch you practice?
Yeah, if you could give us even a little advice, we'd appreciate it. We formed the band, but none of us have any experience, and we don't know quite exactly what we're doing. If we could get advice from someone who knows what he's talking about, that would help us immensely. I don't want to mention that Murakami, who has absolutely no experience at all with this, is the only one giving us advice. We need help from someone who has a clue. That's something I've been thinking about every practice. There is a limit to what we can learn from videos and books. If it's possible, I want you to listen to us once in a while. Of course, when you have the time. Oh, but do you think the other members would get angry? Keshawara shakes her head.
I think they would be thrilled.
I think so too. Tonya, what do you think? Do you think you could do it? For the time being, do you have time today?
I don't have anything scheduled for the rest of the day, so I do have time. Advice.
Tonya takes another sip of his juice with a bitter look.
Anyway, what kind of instrument are you using, Meijime-kun? Can I see?
My instrument?
What's wrong? That has a bass in it, right?
Yeah, it does, but it's so sudden. I pick up the case, then hesitate. He just showed his extreme love towards instruments when he looked at Keshawara's guitar. How can I show him my very special bass? I'm sure it's nothing but a piece of scrap. If he's saying that to test me, to see if it's worth for him to coach us, then this is serious.
Miyajima-san?
Keshawara grabs my sleeve worriedly. Oy. What can I do?
You don't want to show me? Well, then...
No, here, I'll show you. Here it is. I don't want Tonya to get upset. I have no other choice than to give him the case. He takes it and opens the case to take the bass out.
Hmm?
Then, just like he did with the guitar, he's looking at it very, very carefully. He's looking at it. He's still looking at it. The bass with Svender written on it in black ink. I meddled with it so it plays, but it still doesn't play right. That's the kind of instrument he's looking at. He groans, and still he's looking at it. Maybe he can't even find words to say. Or maybe he's so angry he has to sort out his thoughts. Since Tonya's face has no expression, I don't know what he's really thinking. But his face is completely different from the face when he was looking at Kashawara's guitar. If he looks at it so thoroughly, it almost feels like he's looking at my private parts, which is making me feel extremely restless. After thinking for a while, Tonya sighs while shaking his head, then gives me the bass back. What do you think of this bass? Maybe I shouldn't, but I just have to know.
It has Svender written on it.
Obviously. I guess he wanted to look at the bass simply because it's his hobby, and there isn't any special reason behind it.
I just wanted to look at it.
He folds his arms, then starts to think.
You want my advice, huh?
I still can't even imagine what he's thinking. You really don't have to think so seriously. You can take it a bit more lightly. Even with my words, he's staring off into space, thinking with a serious look. Then Karari and Chie show up. They look confused to see Tonya there, so I explain what has happened so far. They both plead for Tonya to help us. Tonya tips the can of orange juice. It must be empty by now. Even with 3 girls begging him, Tonya still has to think. Maybe he really doesn't want to do it. But if he doesn't want to do it, he should have declined long ago. I think there's a little hope, but what's holding him back?
Kenshin, why don't you do it?
The manager of the studio, who has been watching us, speaks up.
I don't mean to barge in, but you don't get a chance to teach that often. I'm thinking it'll be good for you. You used to tell me there aren't enough people who play in bands.
You're right. Okay then, I'll watch you. But I want to wait until after to see if there's anything I can do. Is that okay?
He finally gives in. And so, we start our first studio practice with him. When we adjust the instrument's volumes according to the drums, the studio is filled with the loud sound. But it doesn't even take an hour for us to get used to it. Chie must be thrilled to be able to play the real drums, but seems like she's more nervous than anything. Even I get a little nervous knowing a pro is watching us. Kashawara, who is playing the same instrument as Tonya, must be feeling the pressure more than the rest of us.
Better than I expected.
When we finish the song we've been practicing, Tonya nods lightly.
It's only been a month since you started playing your instruments, right? You guys are good. I can tell you practiced every day.
Do you have any suggestions for us?
Sure I do, but that's only natural. You guys just started. If you keep practicing, you'll get there. Yeah, I think you're on the right track. If your main purpose is to have fun at the cultural festival, I think you'll get there.
Really?
Kashawara has sparkles in her eyes, but one thing bothers me.
What do you mean by if our purpose is just to have fun at the cultural festival?
I guess Chie felt the same way, since she asks the question.
That means... well, I don't mean anything negative. My Japanese isn't great, so I can't really put in words. You know, like if you were trying to become a real band, you wouldn't last. No, I guess everything's like that in this world. You get what I mean, right?
Tonya tries to find words.
I'm serious when it comes to bands.
Chie replies and waits for his next words.
So...
Tonya twists his neck.
That's what I mean.
I don't get it.
I see.
Tonya looks rather sad. Kashawara interrupts.
Both for us and the club. It's our last chance. So we want to do something decent. She's right. Sure, to you, someone who has been playing music for so long, we may look like some bunch of amateurs. Sure, this show is this summer and we only started this spring. I know that, but...
No, I don't think that. It doesn't matter what your purpose is or when you started. That's not the point.
Tonya's words are full of power. I can hear his strong will in them. They must be coming from deep inside him.
You know, I don't mind coaching or giving advice. I'm glad I can help others with my knowledge. But I have a habit of getting too serious, and I might ruin your fun. See, my methodology is what I hold myself to. So, I wasn't sure about saying anything at first. That's what I was worried about from the beginning.
We don't know!
We hear Karari shout from the speaker in full volume, so we all cover our ears.
Wow, Karari! The microphone! Sorry!
Karari apologizes, then turns the switch off.
But Tonya-kun, we just want to get better, that's all!
I see.
Yeah, I was surprised too! Everyone's hands are all torn up and they look awful! Even Serena's beautiful white hands are all blistered and they look so painful! Chia-chan's hands are covered in Band-Aid!
Karari grabs Keshiwara's hands and sticks them in front of Tonya. Her white fingertips have band-aids all over, which make it look really painful.
Meijima doesn't look too bad though.
Hey, don't make it sound like I haven't been practicing. My fingers have tough skin, that's all.
I know, you played tennis a lot.
Yeah, I nodded, but in truth, the reason why the skin on my thumbs is tough is not because of tennis, but from playing games.
Everyone's doing their best, so I want you to give us advice!
Tonya hums and taps his forehead with his fingertip. Is this his thinking pose? Hey, Tonya, I think I understand what you're saying, but I appreciate if you could help. What do you think? Do you think you could help us? I beg him one more time.
I see.
Tonya thinks. We wait for his answer in silence. Then he opens his mouth.
Okay, I'll help you if I can, but I can't promise anything.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is great!
The girls are delighted. I guess they were worried about doing it with only amateurs.
Thank you, Sensei.
Sensei.
Tonya squints when Chie calls him that. Maybe he kinda likes it.
Then our goal is the performance at the cultural festival. Let's work hard to make it a success. I hate it when people say bad things about bands I worked with. If I'm going to help you, I'll probably say more than just a few things. A lot more, actually. Is that okay?
Of course. We have no objections. Actually, we'd welcome it.
Alright, I'm going to turn you into an awesome band. It'll be tough, so be prepared.
So, this is how Tonya becomes their teacher. Tonya didn't lie about his serious attitude. Starting the next day, he puts us through practice sessions. First, he makes us stop practicing on the rooftop. Instead, we start to practice on the riverbank. Groove is indispensable for a band, and we must put our sounds together, according to him at least. That's why we have to move to a place where we can play as loud as possible. Tonya has outdoor equipment, such as batteries at his hips, so we all help to carry them out. We really appreciate that he not only agreed to give us advice, but he lets us use his equipment too. That shows how serious he is about this. His shed in the backyard is filled with musical equipment. He says some of it was given to him, and some he found and fixed himself. Now this shed is his room, and he spends his time here, surrounded by his instruments. That's so like Tonya. He even has a drum set. Since he isn't using it, he carry it out for Chie to use. He says that she can use it for the performance, of course, but also for practice. How generous of him! That solves our main problem, where to find a drum set. Tonya's little sister helps us by loading and driving the drum set. Tonya's sister is excited to see how many girls we have, which embarrasses Tonya. According to her, the only people he brings home are weirdos, and this is the first time he's ever brought girls who are his age. Kenta of Star Generation is known for being able to find a girl anywhere at any time. I assume he must see the girls behind her back, so I don't believe her at all. After that, Tonya tells me he really doesn't lead a life that has anything to do with girls. He was a rocker since he was little, I guess. That's too bad. So, with Tonya's coaching, our practice begins in earnest. We don't only have regular practices, we also have these strange sessions, created by Tonya, called special training. We do things like this. It hasn't been long since we first started to practice at the riverbank. We can play as loud as we want by the river. That's true, but the riverbank is not a usual place to hold a band practice. But if you ask me what it's for, I wouldn't know. I see many people play with radio-controlled airplanes, but I don't think that's what it's here for either. I really don't know what the riverbank is for. Maybe it's a countermeasure against floods. But we rarely have floods. People use this open space as they wish, but we hardly ever see a band practicing. So people who walk by stare at us. It's embarrassing to be stared at when you can hardly play. According to Tonya, playing outside helps us get used to people watching us. But I think being watched by an old woman who's walking her dog, or a couple on a date, is a little different from being watched by an audience on the stage. Is this really that useful? But Tonya says it's the same.
Don't let it get to you. It's the third day. Just get used to it already.
He complains because we still sound a little stiff.
But my eyes met with that person over there.
Even Karate's volume has gone down, and that's her excuse.
But at the real performance, what are you going to do? Are you going to stop singing every time you meet eyes with someone in the audience? You can't do that, right?
No.
Not only Shino-san, but everyone is paying too much attention to the people watching you. At the cultural festival, people who are just walking by will be watching you. There even might be people who are thinking you are being too loud and noisy. It'll be different than playing in a dark theater. You'll be able to see people in the back row. You can't let that affect you.
You're right. But it'd be tough to see a perplexed old man in the audience.
Chie nods.
You know, my goal is to make you the kind of band that would touch people's hearts, even if they just happened by. It'll be ideal if you can play at the event like that. You can't let something like this affect you.
I think that's a high hurdle to jump over. I don't know if I can do it.
You can do it.
He sounds absolutely confident. We must really think we can do it. But to me, that goal really isn't very realistic. I guess I'm not the only one who feels that way, as the whole band has an unsteady atmosphere. When Tonya notices that, he claps his hands.
I know. Let's wrap up group practice for now and do some special training.
Special training? That reminds me of comic books.
Sure. For you to be a decent band, you have to do something special.
And so, we embark on our first special training.
Wow, this is incredible! You look like you're about to rob a bank. You look so cool.
Mai and Miyuki, who came to help out, are very excited. The members of the Second Literature Club are hiding in the forest. We're in a copse with many overgrown trees. There are plenty of weeds on the ground, and the soil is moist. The mosquitoes flying around us are bothering me.
Are we ready to do this?
Chie hugs her snare drum to her chest. Not that I can tell it's really her by looking at her, like the one a luchador wears, with the holes for the eyes and the mouth. But Chie isn't the only one who's looking like a weirdo with a mask. We are all wearing masks. Tonya got some luchador masks from his house and made us wear them. Because there weren't enough for everybody, Mei and Miyuki are wearing glasses with a fake nose, the kind you wear at parties. Also, Murakami was called in as a roadie, people who support the band by carrying and working the equipment. Sometimes the girls who are just hanging around are called roadies, and some take advantage. But that's wrong. But because there aren't any masks left, he's wearing a headband with kamikaze written on it. His face isn't covered at all. Is this supposed to be a disguise? All the masks are from Tonya's house. Is he a secret fan of pro wrestling? Anyway, with our disguises on, we look like we're attending a cheap costume party. We look pitiful. However, I'm wearing the tiger mask, one of the most popular pro wrestlers, so I'm extremely happy. So, here we are, hiding in the trees, looking like this. This is definitely a peculiar situation. I'll explain why we're doing this. In front of us is a grocery store filled with shoppers. But don't jump to conclusions. We're not going to rob it. We don't look like robbers, but as a special training for the band, I don't think anyone would rob a grocery store. At least I hope not. As proof, we are all carrying our own instruments. The rest of our equipment is on a cart, which Murakami and the girls are pulling. This is what's going on.
This is what's called a guerrilla concert. You guys go through the parking lot and play at the entrance.
Tonya says it as if it was nothing. I've heard about guerrilla concerts. Some famous people do that in the middle of the shopping mall. A live performance without notice. That's what he's making us do. But can we really do it? It's the evening. There are a lot of shoppers. Young moms with little kids, older women looking for bargains. The scene is absolutely normal. And that's where we're supposed to perform? Punk rock? If it's a famous band, then people might get excited, even if it's a sudden appearance. But us? We can't even play that well. Would they even want to hear us?
You don't play with instruments at a live performance, you play with the audience. I want you to experience that at least once. I think it's important for you to experience what it is to play for people.
Is he talking about the courage to play on a stage?
But don't we need to be able to play decently first?
Shouldn't we work on that?
Chie asks an extremely obvious question.
No, courage is the most important thing. The ability to play comes after that. You know, who cares about this performance? What matters is you stand confidently on stage and play bravely. You practice because you're not confident enough. But in truth, your skill with your instruments doesn't matter. That is not what moves people emotionally.
That's easy for him to say. He's a really good player. During practice, he played to show an example for Keshawara, and it was completely different. It was like the guitar came alive.
How did you make such a sound with my guitar?
Keshawara rarely gets surprised, but right then she was flabbergasted. I imagine that little technique made a difference, but from what we can see, we don't know how it's working. But Tonya dismisses that.
Your abilities don't matter.
But people who are able to do things easily tend to think that they're not particularly talented. We all look confused, but nobody says anything. We really don't agree, but if Tonya is speaking so confidently, then maybe we'll just do it. Although we've only met recently, we already have a common purpose. Maybe that's Tonya's personal virtue, or maybe it's because we're too ignorant. Tonya's logic doesn't really work for us, but he's still our teacher.
Well, let's do it and see what happens. Maybe we'll understand what Tonya's talking about then.
Chie doesn't sound too convinced.
She's right. If we wait any longer, we're going to be stung by mosquitoes all over.
Kurari scratches her neck. We make up our mind. No matter how much we complain, we'll end up doing it anyway. We make our move. We go through the parking area and get onto the property while pulling the cart. That's when we realize we made a huge mistake. The masks. They're attracting attention. Come to think of it, we don't need these. We talked about being noticed and people finding out which school we go to, and that's why we decided to use our masks. But once we get caught, our masks will be pulled off and we'll be asked our names and stuff. They'll probably make calls, so there's no point in lying. If they're useless, then I'd much rather stay in my normal appearance and try to avoid people's stares. But these masks are making us stand out. When we realize it, it's too late. Everyone in the area is looking at us. They're staring at us. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks these masks are a mistake. People must be thinking weird masked wrestlers have launched an invasion. Oh well, what can we do? I stopped the cart and turned to the others. Let's go for it. Maybe people will think this is a special event put on by the grocery store. If we act suspiciously, they might call the police. Don't be nervous. Let's play as if it's our part-time job. Then we'll do great. I was hoping someone would say, "You're worrying too much. Who would call the police?" But that doesn't happen. They are just nodding. That's when I realized that this is a serious situation. I'm not wrong.
It does feel like a guerrilla performance. I feel like we're the real guerrillas trying to enter enemy territory.
Murakami takes this really seriously. With our appearance, we do look like people who are trying to execute an impossible mission. I feel like laughing, but my mood is too dark for that. We'll go out with a bang, then we'll end our school lives before the cultural festival. That scenario seems so real. I'm too scared to even imagine it. But as punk rockers, we can't go back. We unload the equipment off the cart. Some shoppers stop to watch, but they must think it's some sort of event, so nothing happens. The store people don't even notice, so we finish the setup.
Do you think it'll be okay? I'm scared.
Mai and Miyuki are whispering to each other nervously. But we, the performers, don't even have that luxury. We're under pressure. The longer we take, the higher the chance of being caught before we start. When we finish the setup, we take up our positions. Then Chie starts to count. Click, click, click. The light sound of the sticks attracts the shopper's attention. Kashiwara's guitar starts the song. Her guitar is connected directly to the amplifier, and the volume is turned up to max. This is called a full 10. Tonya taught us about that too. When she plucks the strings with her pick, a violent noise comes out from the speakers. We didn't really expect to sound quite like that. Even Kashiwara looks a little shocked. This is the first time we ever did the full 10, so this is what it sounds like. If even the performers feel like this, the audience must be scared out of their mind right now. I even see a dog going crazy in the distance. It isn't just the guitar. When I play the bass, it also makes a sound like an explosion. Karari starts to sing. Her voice doesn't sound as bad as the instruments, but it still sounds horrible. And then the drums. They're loud to begin with, but they sound quiet because of the other instruments. Anyway, the performance hits like a thunderbolt, and we do this at a peaceful, normal marketplace in the evening. This isn't a performance, it's terrorism. I remember a news story about someone who killed his neighbor because the noise of the piano bothered him. I regret doing this. The suspect said that when he was caught, but I always thought that he was selfish to even say such a thing. But I think I can understand him now. The sound we created is unexpectedly loud, and the effect is too big. But it's too late now. I regret this now. I really do. But I'm sure nobody is going to care. How sad. People gather around us. With this many people, we can't run away. But we can't stop playing either. The outcome would be the same. We can't hesitate. I only hope there aren't people who can take much shock, like old people. Fortunately, I can only see young and healthy people. As expected, people come out from the store. Even the employees come out, but they don't know what to do. At first, I feel a cold sweat, and I get annoyed by my own cowardice and force myself to go all out. Tonya told us not to come back until we've completed at least one song. Since we've already started, let's just do it. Well, we have no other choice. As long as we are playing full blast, nobody will touch us. I hope.
I'll give you a tip.
Before we went in, Tonya spoke to us.
Believe in yourself. Believe that you are the best rock and roller in the world. Then you have nothing to be afraid of.
That's right. I'm the best damn bassist in the world. I can move anybody's heart with my performance. Who would get mad? People will love me and appreciate my performance. I convince myself of that. It's the only way to stay sane. In this horrible situation, the only thing we can do is do our best. I guess I'm not the only one who thinks that. Karari is singing with a powerful voice. Chie is playing with little improvisations here and there. Keshiwara is playing almost perfectly, and the tempo is too fast. Probably twice as fast as we normally play. I can hardly keep up. It's almost scary. It's almost desperate. The shoppers are watching us with a surprised look. They're dazed. I can't tell what they're thinking. They aren't impressed. I know that for sure. The last time when someone looked at me this way was when I was in elementary school. I pulled my friend's pants down. At least that's what I thought. It turned out to be a stranger, a girl. I'll never forget the frozen air around us and the strawberry that was on the girl's panties. I hurt an innocent girl that time. But now, I'm affecting those people's dinner menu, and possibly leaving their kids traumatized. The crowd gets bigger and bigger, but people are keeping a distance from us. Maybe because we look too weird. We are wearing masks, playing loud music at a place like this, after all. We just keep smashing our sound into the dazed spectators. To be honest, I can't deny I'm having fun. When the performance is almost over, a middle-aged employee who looks like he's in charge comes out the store. Is he the manager? Our performance ends. Probably everything else will end too. I don't even have the energy to run. We're just standing there exhausted after the hard performance. Because of the violently loud noise, the silence feels almost painful. The manager is getting closer and closer. He's looking at us directly. He looks like someone who's locked on to a target. There's no need to hide our faces. Actually, there was no need for that from the beginning. I remove my tiger mask. Everyone else follows. I feel like a peeled, hard-boiled egg. I feel so refreshed now that my sweat is evaporating into the air. The manager reaches us.
I can't believe you really finished this song.
Is that a bitter smile?
Of course, they're my buddies.
Tonya answers him. Where'd he come from?
Okay, I lost.
Then the manager takes out his wallet and pays Tonya. What's going on? I looked at the name tag on the manager's jacket. It says, Store Manager, Tonya. Turns out, the manager is Tonya's dad. The grocery store is managed by Tonya's father. Tonya arranged for permission for us to play. They must have been betting if we could actually finish the song. Not only did he allow us to play, they actually had a wager? What kind of father and son are they?
Well, my dad was a rocker too. He made me do this as well, but in my case, it was at my grandfather's funeral. I thought my relatives were going to kill me.
Tonya is wearing his usual face.
But it was his way of showing respect for the dead. It was a funeral, so I played Nirvana.
I don't get it, but now I know they're a weird family.
But if that was the case, why didn't you tell us? I was ready to quit school.
Wow, playing while ready to quit school. That's great. That's so punk.
Tonya nods in satisfaction.
Hey, for me to decide to quit wasn't easy. I already had to repeat a year.
Chie continues to complain. What a persuasive power. We are completely exhausted from the performance, both emotionally and physically. We rest in a corner of the parking area.
Weren't you nervous, Karari-chan?
Keshiwara is sitting next to Karari. They both look exhausted. Karari is sipping tea, poured from the pink pot she brought.
No, I had a lot of fun!
Karari gives the cup of tea to Keshiwara.
Your guitar was great too, Serena-chan! Really?
Keshawara takes the cup and takes a sip.
I thought my heart was going to stop. If I died wearing a mask, doing something like that, people would laugh at the funeral, huh?
Keshawara takes the mask from the second graders and puts it on her face, then turns to Karari.
Kamen Rider! No, that's Gaku Rider!
Karari laughs. I'm not listening to their conversation because I don't want to eavesdrop, but Murakami is talking to Tonya, I don't feel like talking to the second years, and Chie is playing with the drums, so I have nothing else to do. So, I have an excuse. Over there, Tonya's father is apologizing to the employees and the shoppers. Well, maybe it's a little different from apologizing. He's actually telling them how lucky they've been to see us play, and that they should come back again.
If you can name the song that was just performed, everything will be half off.
What a businessman. But if the manager is like that, is this grocery store going to last? I can't help worrying. Then Murakami shows up.
I want to be a father like him.
I think I never want to become like him, but I don't say it. That was our first intensive practice session. And by first, I mean there were others after that. That's how it went.
Personally, I don't think, oh, so you're shy about being embarrassed in public? Let's traumatize you more so doing the concert doesn't feel so bad. Type of thing is really a good idea in reality. Yeah, exposure therapy does work, but it's in small steps. Doing something really big right away is a recipe for trauma. It may work, but it can end really badly too.